Hey everybody, today I've got a 2002 BMW 530i. This car got towed in because, if you can see here, the axle is spinning, but it's not connected to the CV joint here. So something has broken in here, so we're going to put another axle in it. So on this car here, it's got this huge control arm. I don't know how the axle is going to come out. We might have to take stuff off up there. On the 3 Series, it doesn't have this big piece here, so the control arm, so in between the control arm, so the axle can flop down and you can get it out. I don't know if that's going to happen on this one or not. We might have to disconnect some stuff up there. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take the 6 bolts out here, and then we're going to take the tire off and take the axle nut off, and we're going to drop this down and see if it comes out. I doubt it's going to, because we're probably going to have to disconnect the upper control arms to lean this forward to get the axle out like you do on the front car. This thing also needs a sway bar link. We're going to put one of those on it too. So let me get these bolts out, the tire off, and the axle nut off, and we'll come back and see if it slides out or not. All right, well, I got all 6 bolts out, and it took a fight to get this out of here. And as you see, I got it out, and all the balls are falling out, and the axle now is sitting on this control arm right here. There's no way that this is going to slide out underneath the rear end. So still need to take the tire off, and we're going to have to start taking the control arms loose up top here, the shock, the strut, the upper control arms, to lean that forward to get this axle stub out. Let me go show you the new axle. It's still in the bag. So there's the piece that disintegrated. This cap was also on there, and then here is the short stub of the axle there. But it looks like we're gonna have to take a lot more apart. That's probably why this job pays 3.5 hours, because it's a lot of stuff to take apart. So let me get back on it and we'll come back. All right, I finally got the wheel off. I had to use my super long torque wrench to get these 3 lug studs busted free. But anyway, so now the axle nut here is a 12.36 millimeter. It's not a 6-point, so we're gonna have to get in there and get that off. And I'm gonna go ahead and see if the axle will push out enough to slide out. But if not, you can see somebody's replaced this control arm here. I'll probably have to take this nut off here, this nut off down here, and the nut on the back of the shock strut assembly here to get this to lay down enough to get the axle out. All right, before I took any of this stuff apart, I was just seeing for ha-has. You can see here I do have the axle out of the hub because I rammed the axle above the rear end here, but that is as far as it goes because it's hitting on the rear end and it's pinned here on this control arm, part of the rear frame assembly. So we're still going to have to take this stuff apart and lower this down. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here and I'm going to take that bolt off there, and then I'll get the other 2 bolts from up top. Alrighty, so I've got the strut shock loose. There goes my flashlight. This back control arm, I got the nut off of, no problem. But this one up here, the boot's all ripped up, and I can't get the nut off. They have seemed to have, oh, there we go. Let me get a little bit better angle here. You're supposed to put a 7mm wrench on this and then take the nut out. Well, this wasn't even tight. I think this nut is cross-threaded or frozen on here, but the boot's ripped open, so it needs a new control arm. So we're going to go ahead and get a new control arm, and then I can just cut this off. And as you can see now, this has gotten loose. So once I get this arm off, this should be able to fall down far enough to where I can get the axle above the brake hose, the parking brake line here, to maybe get the axle out through here. Let me see if Sandy can get the upper control arm for me, and we'll come back. All right, now that we've got everything disconnected, we have this control arm disconnected out of here. We have this control arm completely taken off because this control arm messed up anyway, and we're gonna go ahead and replace it. So it looks like if I lift up on this, this will give me enough room to get the axle straight on out. So we're gonna try that now. I'm not gonna be able to film it, but I think if you lift up on this, we can slide the axle out. So yes, I was exactly right. I was able to lift up on this, pull the axle here down below the rear end, which is right here, and then the axle will come right out. So now the problem is getting the other axle in, but it's going to be the same way. We're going to put it up in, lift up on this, get it started in here, and get it started in there. All right, everybody, this is a pain in the butt. Like I said, this control arm was messed up here. Had a hard time getting it out. Got this one out, got this out. So this is all floppy. You got to be careful of the parking brake cable and the ABS sensor. Make sure you don't pinch that. So now, like I said, you lift up on it to get the axle to tilt down and then out. All right, everybody, thanks for watching. Please subscribe. That's how you're gonna have to get one of these axles out. You're gonna have to disconnect both ends of this control arm because there's not enough movement to get this out of here. And this one, there is enough movement to get it out. All right, everybody, thanks for watching. Please subscribe. You always see that in that corner. Please give me a thumbs up if you like what I'm doing.